We'll go do some Android. So we got Android set as our startup project. The reason I'm doing this is this shortcuts this will shortcut the UI creation because I've already created the UI in this particular solution. Once the packages restore from NuGet, we'll be good to go. I did want to check one thing real quick. Is the component store working yet? We had problems with this still earlier. Just kind of curious. Nah, I don't even have time for this. We have the packages already in here. So we got Twilio Common, Twilio IP Messaging. Things that are already created in this solution include, if we look in layout, I have a main.axml. We have lots of chat going on. We have a main.axml, and we also have a message item layout.axml. These two conform to basically our, we've got a list view and an edit text and a button down at the bottom that we use for messages go here, messages get sent from here, yada yada. Message item layout, we're going to have the body and the author like we had in the iOS version. That's pretty straightforward. And then we have this main activity, which already has, let's see, how much of this do I have implemented? I actually have a lot of this implemented already in this solution, which I think I have to roll back a little bit because probably shouldn't have that much of this in here. What do I have? I've got the adapter, messages adapter, add message. Yeah, so I've got basically the adapter set up already. So this is going to look a lot like the messages data source that we built in iOS. So we have something to add a message. We have something to get a message ID. We have some code that runs on the UI thread that updates the data set when it's done. One thing we need here, I think that we could add here from the sample that we have for Android that is in the bindings, I think we have something in this activity that in the messages adapter that will do the update messages like we had. I didn't include that in the mini hack, so we'll just add it here. This is going to be public void update messages like we did before. Enumerable of message. This is going to be the messages that load when the channel history loads. And we'll populate that. We'll lock on messages. And we will clear the messages. So messages.clear. I think that's what we want. Oh, what does it name? Is it named messages? Yeah, it says named messages. .clear. Why is clear not a thing? Why is clear not a thing? Do I not have a namespace? Got a namespace. This is ambiguous. This dot. That's better. This dot messages. I think I'll just rename this. This is not good. Messages. And then we don't need that. Messages dot clear. Messages dot add range. And that's going to be all of the messages that were passed in. We want to order them by. That's going to be link again. We don't have that specified as a namespace. We need to order them by, again, the timestamp like we did before. Order by m timestamp. That should be messages.order by m timestamp. We need to close this. And what is wrong with that android.os.message? No. That's not the message that we're talking about here. This should be enumerable of iMessage. Yes. That should fix this here, in theory. Twilio.ip messaging.iMessage does not contain. Yes, it does. Why are you lying to me? Totally does. Is this base adapter set up correctly? Yep. iMessage. M dot what do we have? M dot timestamp. Oh, you know what? Holy crap. That needs to be fixed in the binding. So the Android, it's capital S. In the iOS, it's lowercase s. Man, that is painful. I gotta fix that inconsistency. And then we want to run on the main thread. Run on UI thread. The nuclear demons. Okay. So on the UI thread, we will notify dataset changed. Close that out. So cool. That will take care of reloading once we specify the rest of the messages in there. Okay, next on the hit parade, we have a bunch of messages that we need, or methods that we need to implement. Hopefully we can do that here. I'm just gonna load these all in. It's gonna be a bunch of them. That's fine. We're gonna load these all in right here at the bottom, and we're gonna load all of these in at the bottom. So these are all the different interface methods. Unfortunately, in Android, for whatever reason, in this binding, they're all required. So we'll just come through and implement all of them. And we'll come back up here, and we need to take care of some stuff in the application. So we've got the send button, we've got the message, we've got the list view, we've got the adapter, we've got the client, we've got the general channel. And then inside of onCreate, we need to grab access to all of those. First thing we're going to do is set logging in, send button, text message, list view. And now we create an adapter, and we set the adapter on the list view. Now we need to hook up to Twilio IP Messaging. So we'll do that here. And the way we'll do that is we will set the client. First thing we should do, now we won't worry about the logging level. We'll log everything. Chat has a nasty memory leak. It might. Believe that's possible. If you see that for sure, if you can take a screenshot of that, it's just a sample application. It's out of our quick start, but if there is a problem there, we should probably fix it. I will let the developer education team know, and they can fix it. If you want to whisper me the details, maybe. Okay. So what we want to do is we want to check the SDK works a little bit differently here in Android. So the first thing we want to do is we want to check if the IP messaging SDK is initialized, and if it's not, then we need to initialize it. So we'll do that in here, and what we're going to do there is we are going to call Twilio IP Messaging SDK dot initialize SDK. 3 gigs, really? Okay. We'll have to check on that. This new init listener, and what we're going to do inside of there is we're going to create a handler, and that's going to be async delegate. And inside of here, we will await a setup method that we will write in a second. And then we also need an error handler that will handle an error. And we'll just, for now, console write line. Oh noes. Okay, so that is our setup structure. Down here, we need to close that. Okay, so that's our setup structure. Otherwise, we'll just call setup if it's already initialized. This is going to be setup. This is going to be setup. And then we'll implement this setup method right here. So this is going to be an async task because it's not going to return anything. Setup. And this is where we're going to do our token token identity general channel dance. So here we're going to do token is await get identity. And we'll implement that real quick. Get identity is just going to basically do the same thing that it did over in iOS. So we'll have a task of string, and we'll do get identity. And that's not going to take anything in. What that's going to do is it's going to get the Android ID. And that is going to be Android provider settings secure get string. We need a content resolver, and that is going to be Android provider settings secure Android ID. Lovely. Okay, so that's the Android ID. We'll use that to create our token endpoint like we did before, and that's just going to be https brent.ngrok.io token.php, and then we pass in the device like we did before. That's going to be Android ID, like so. And then we're going to create an HTTP client like we did before. This is going to be new HTTP client. And then we will use that to get some data like we did before. Await HTTP get string async. And we're going to go to the token endpoint for that. And then we'll parse out the JSON like we did before. System dot, we need JSON object. JSON object. And then we'll JSON object.parse the data as before. We saw what that token looked like before. It's just a JWT, a JOT. We're going to grab the identity out of that token. So that's a JSON sub identity. And do toString on that. And trim that. I am going to need to take a break at noon for a meeting. And I will come back and finish this, but let's finish this method first before I take that break. We'll do this dot action bar dot subtitle. Yeah, I have a meeting at noon. It only goes for half an hour, and I can come back right after that, and we can continue on this lovely trail that we're on. We're going to do logged in as identity, and then we'll grab the token. And that's going to be token dot toString dot trim, and then we'll return the token. That tells me that I did something wrong up here. Yeah, like that. Okay, return not token watcher but token. So that's get identity. So that's going to do this right here. Let's see, how much is left in setup? A little bit. Okay, we left off at, I believe, the setup method. We had gotten the identity, so we were able to get the token back, and we needed to do stuff with that token next. And just like we did over in the iOS application, we are going to create a Twilio Access Manager from the Access Manager factory. This is coming from the Java land. And we're going to create an Access Manager using that, and we'll pass in the token, and we'll set this as the listener. And then from that, we'll create a client using the SDK, Twilio IP Messaging SDK.create with Access Manager. We'll pass in the Access Manager that we just created, and we'll pass this as the listener again for that. And just like before, we need to get the channel list. So the same steps that we did last time, we had the channel list, and then from the channel list, we check to see if there's a general channel. If there is, we join it. If there isn't, we create it and join it. So we'll do that now. Client.channels.load channels with listener. And that's going to take a new status listener. and we will use the status listener here, and we'll create a success handler. So success handler equals, and from here we will do general channel. So we'll set general channel equal to client. Yeah, I can drop this code on GitHub, sure. Certainly. So what we've done is we created an iOS version earlier. That's what this one is here. So this is the chat application, like so. And then there's this chat application. You can go to brent.ngrok.io to join the chat and chat along, and your messages will show up inside of this application. So yeah, I'll put the code up on GitHub. Actually, like most of this code is already sort of on GitHub, but yeah, I'll put a Twitch version of this for the code that we actually wrote during the stream up there somewhere. But yeah. Let's finish this up. So we got client.channels.get channel by unique name. We're gonna try to get the general channel. And if we're able to do that, then this won't be null. So we'll do an if check to see if general channel, not gemeral, general channel is not equal to null. And if it's not equal to null, that means we can set up a channel listener on it, and we can also join the general channel. So we'll do a listener equals this. So we have a channel listener specified, and then we'll join the general channel with a method that we will write down below. Join general channel. And what we want to do in that, if we just come down here a little bit, this is going to return void join general channel. And what that is going to look like is we will take our general channel object, which we now know exists, and we're going to call join on it. And that is going to take a status listener. And the status listener, basically, inside of here we'll do something for the success handler. So if we have success, then we want to write in some code. We want to run some code on the main thread. So we will run on main thread, and that code that we will run on the main thread is we'll pop a little toast up that says that we joined the channel. So this will be this for the callback, for the context, and we'll just say joined general channel. That'll just do a little toast at the bottom of the screen. Toast length is going to be short, and then we'll call .show on that. Cool. So basically what we're doing there is we're saying join the general channel, and when it's successful, pop up a little toast that says we joined the general channel. Cool. That was if everything was successful and hunky-dory. Actually, we got a lot of things up here that are not. I'm very happy. Get identity totally does exist. Let's do a build. Let's clean some of this stuff up. Hopefully it's not going to complain that those don't exist. They totally do. Unexpected string public. Some of these things. Let's see. Oh no, I didn't close. So that's the problem. I didn't close that function. Okay, I think everything should work there. Should build correctly now. Basically, that was the success case. So that was if, oh boy, type or namespace Twilio could not be found. Are you missing an assembly? Am I missing an assembly reference? I shouldn't be missing an assembly reference. What file are we in? Message cell. Message cell is, oh, in iOS. Let us unload this project. We don't need the iOS project right now. Let's just build the Android project. We did the iOS project in a different set. This we want to close, so let's close this window. Oops. I didn't want to close that. We want that. We want people to join the chat. I'm gonna make this a little smaller though. And remove this line break so that we can shrink this up a little bit. Cool. All right. That's where you can go to join the chat, by the way. Brent.ngrok.io. And it'll give you a random username, and you can participate in the chat like other people have been doing all morning. Join the fun. So here we go. That was the success case where we had, basically where we had a general channel. So if it wasn't null. If it is null though, we need to run some code to handle that case. And what we're going to do there is we're going to create the general channel and then join it. So create and join general channel, like so. And then we're going to implement that down below the join channel right here. This is also going to be a void returner. Create and join general channel, like so. And what we're going to do in here, much like in the iOS one, we've got a little bit of wonky option passing to do. So the options for creating the channel, it's going to be a dictionary of string to Java lang object. So even though we are in C#, occasionally we will need to work with objects that are from the Java world. And this is one of those cases. Just because the method that we're going to call requires us to pass in one of those. What we're going to pass in here is friendly name. This is a little bit nicer than the whatchamacallit, the iOS binding is for this one. So options friendly name equals general chat channel. And then we're going to set the channel type. So channel type. And that one's capital for some reason. And that is going to be channel type. I don't know why it's channel type. We could probably fix that in the binding too. And this is going to be channel type public. I think channel type is because this is an enum declared in the channel object. Anyways, that's weird. Client dot channels dot create channel. We're going to pass in the options. And then we're going to have a new create channel listener. Now the create channel listener is something that we're gonna have to create. So we'll go down below and we'll create that. That is a class that we need to add basically to make this work. I'm just gonna comment this for now. We'll go add this down at the bottom. This is going to be a public class called create channel listener. And this is going to extend an abstract class that's in the bindings. We got one too many here. What are we closing out? Is this the close of the namespace? Because that would be great. Yes, it is. Okay, that's the close of the namespace. That goes over there. Okay, what we're going to have in this particular class is we're going to have an action for an iChannel that's going to get called, that we're going to have an onCreate handler. OnCreated handler. Like so. This is going to allow us to set up an event for the onCreated handler. And then we're going to also have one for error action. And this one's going to be onError handler. Like so. Get and set. And then down here, these are going to be the events that get called. These are overrides. So override, we're going to have onCreated. And that is going to take a channel. We'll call this channel. And then in here, we will do onCreated handler invoke. So it's going to invoke on the channel. So this is going to allow us to pass in some code that'll run using lambdas. So that's cool. And then we're going to override the onError. Override onError. Obsolete deprecated? That shouldn't be. That's not true. I don't think I deprecated that. This is going to take an error info, and then this is going to call base on error and pass in the error info. Cool. I don't even know if we'll use the on error up there. It might actually be deprecated. And what we're going to do is come up to our, where was that? Our onCreate. create and join general channel. And now we'll create a new create channel listener. Oh, why can't we do that? Public class. Did I declare this in the wrong spot? What is this here? This is our messages adapter. And this is our public class create channel listener. And it's within the namespace. So we should be able to create that. I did notice we have a lot of things that are red up here. I wonder if I've got a syntax problem somewhere. Unexpected symbol. Yep, I did something wrong here. Oh, right, because we're trying to do this create channel listener. For some reason, it's not giving me the completion for that, which leads me to believe that something is not quite right, but we'll find out in a second. We're going to create the channel listener. So we have new channel listener, and then in there we're going to give it the completion handler information. So this should look like new create channel listener, and then we get closing, and then this should be correct. Let's try building. See if we can clear up some reds. I think that should clear everybody up. Yep, that's it, everybody. Okay, cool. We're back on track. So we've got a channel listener, and what we want to do in here is we need an onCreated handler. So this is the action that we just created below, and this is going to pass in the channel that just got created. And we're also going to have the onError handler, but we're not really going to do anything with it. So we'll just pass it an empty block, like so. And then in our onCreated handler, so when the channel gets created, we'll set general channel equal to channel, like we did in the iOS app. And then just like we did in the iOS application, we need to set the unique name for the newly created channel. So we set that so that it exists. And we're going to do channel dot. Did we pass in? No, we didn't pass this in correctly. This should be channel. Channel dot set unique name. We're going to set the unique name to general. And we'll have a new status listener. Gotta love all the listener objects that you get in Android. Close that up. And in there, we'll have a success handler. And that success handler will just write out that we set the unique name correctly. Sure, why not? Set unique name correctly. Like so. Close that block off. So basically, in this, we have created a new channel called General, and we have joined it, and then we have. Did we join it? We need to join it. No, we need to join it after this. We set the unique name on it, and then we'll join it. This dot join, we'll call it join general channel, which is the method we wrote above, and that will join the general channel. So we've created it because it didn't existed, and when it gets created, we set its unique name to general, and then we join it. So we've joined up the general channel, like we did in the iOS application. With all of that in place, I'm pretty sure our setup method is good to go. Where is that? Setup method calls create general channel. Awesome. This is all cleared up. That's great. At this point, I think if we just implement the load channel history stuff, which is going to be down here in this on. We should not do the throw. We should do console.writeLine. Attributes changed. We're not going to actually handle these, so let's do this. Changed. We're not going to do channel add, so this shouldn't matter. Channel change. Let's do channel changed. Channel delete. We're not going to do, but we'll do channel deleted. Here we'll do channel added. On history loaded, we are going to do, so this is going to take a channel, and in here, we're going to basically update, we're going to call update messages, and we're going to pass in the channel messages.get messages. So that's going to load up all of those lovely messages that we got back. And then we'll call list view smooth scroll to position, which is going to scroll us down to the bottom. We'll call adapter.count -1 to go down to the very bottom position in the list view. So that means when we get a new message, it'll scroll us down just like we had in the iOS version. Cool. Let's see. We don't need to do anything on error. Don't need to do anything on user info change. We won't do anything on attribute change. We won't do anything on member change. We won't do anything on member delete. We won't do anything on member join. I mean, there are plenty of things we could do. We could do a toast when they join up. These are all things that we could do later. All right, message add. We do want to put some code in, so we'll take this. We'll say that we want a channel. A message for this channel. And what we're going to do there is we're going to add that to the adapter. We're going to call add message from our adapter. We're going to pass in the message that was passed in, and then we're going to scroll that list view again using smooth scroll to position, and again pass in adapter count, adapter.count -1. Cool. So that'll scroll us down to the bottom again. We don't need to do anything with message change or message delete. That's definitely stuff we could do later. On typing, we could do if we wanted to do typing indication, but we don't have that supported in our quick start server that we've been working off of, so that won't do anything. Let's see, what else? On error for the access manager, we would want to know about that, and we would want to know when tokens expire and update, but for this sample application, we really don't need that. So at this point, we should have, and let's give it a try, but we should have an Android application now that loads our chat. Oh, except I didn't do the right thing here. Okay, we should have an Android application that is up to the point where we were at with the iOS app when it was loading the channel history, and it could receive new messages from the web chat. Cucamonga! Nice. Hello, Cucamonga. Cool. Awesome. So that's the web-based chat. That's this brent.ngrok.io thing up here that you can join in. You'll get a random username like Cucamonga. We're waiting here for the Android application to build. We have the iOS application right here. We can kind of put these sort of side by side and see what we're up to. What we're hoping here is that the Android application will load up and load these lovely messages. So far, no dice. Did we get stuck anywhere? I don't see us getting stuck anywhere. We did set all the listeners correctly. We did set the endpoint correctly. Still says logging in though. That's disconcerting. What's happening on the server? Did we get the request? 200 OK to the token. Return to token. Oh, that's device browser. That's not an Android app. Let's try this again. Maybe the token request didn't go out. Let's see if we can see this happen live. I don't see a token request happening. Did we not call a method correctly? Let's check this out. Setup gets called. Let's do this. Let's stick a breakpoint in here and rerun the application and see if we hit the breakpoint. We don't. Okay. Do we have anything in output that would indicate something going poorly? Not really. I don't see anything crazy going on. Let's see where we're getting in on create. Debugging. Gotta love it. Okay, on create, set the subtitle, get the content view, get the button, get the text message, get the list view. All these things are good. List adapter, and then we check to see if it's initialized. It's not, so it should drop into here. And then we're looking to see if we ever hit this, or if we ever hit this, or if we hit this. Ah, here we are. We're getting an error. That's the problem. So we're getting an error. Let's see what error looks like. Oh, you know what? I bet I know what it is. I think we don't have permissions set. We are missing... We are missing some stuff. Let's see what we're missing. Your app is missing the following required permissions, ... Lovely. Let's see. What are we exactly missing? Will this tell me if I expand to get to the actual exception? Yep, here we go. We are missing access network state and access Wi-Fi state. That's not too bad. We can get those fixed. Access network state, access Wi-Fi state. That's going to be in options. And that is going to be in application, access Wi-Fi state, access network state. Okay. Stop. Try it again. I always miss those permission things in Android when I work on Android. I always forget that those are a thing. I think we don't need these anymore. Optimistic. Optimistic. Alright. Cool. Let's let this run, because it should work now. Okay, logged in. Join general channel, and then there goes all the messages. So, our next test then would be to say hi over here and see it populate in both iOS and Android. How about that? Cool. Let's see if the scrolling is working. So if I scroll up a bit and I say, hello there, Android, do you even scroll, bro? And it totally does. Totally scrolls down. So we've got the Android application caught up to the iOS application. The iOS application, we noticed we've got some truncation going. I think I know where that happened now that I think about it. It's something we could totally fix. I think the text view in the cell was set to truncate tail. We want that to be like truncate not at all. But yeah, it looks like Android scrolls, bro. It evens. So it evens. That's pretty awesome for an app to even. Cool. So that's great. You might notice though that we really can't like I can type all day, but I can't actually send anything. That's not cool. So let's fix that. Let's get that working. Hop back into Android Studio. What we're gonna need to do is we're gonna need to hook up an event for the button, basically, just like we did before in iOS. We're gonna use the button to do the thing, and we'll do that at the end of on create. We'll do send button dot clicked dot click, and we'll do plus equals object sender event args, and inside of here we'll do our code. And what we're going to do is we are going to check if is null or a white space in the text message dot text. And if it's not empty, then we will create a message using the general channel dot messages dot create message, and that is going to take the text fields, the edit text out of here, and then we'll use the general channel messages object to send a message, passing in the message that we just created, and creating a status listener once again, because we're all about the status listeners. And inside of here, we should close this. Inside of the status listener, we create a success handler. Actually, are we doing this right? Let's see. General, close, new status listener. Yeah, it should be right. In here, we want a success handler. It's not completing though. That leads me to believe I've done something poorly. Let's try this again. Let's just zap this. We're in here. General channel.messages. This is all red. All red. What have I done? Send button.click. We've got an if. Oh, we didn't close the parentheses on the if. That's the problem. Man, where's a BPAF catching my errors when I need one? Okay. General channel.messages.send message. I'll pass in the message. We'll do a new status listener. And inside the status listener, we will create a success handler. It works this time. And in that success handler, we will run some code on the UI thread, since we're in a background thread. And that code that we're going to run is going to set the text back to empty like we did over in the iOS application. And then we need to close this out. But that's pretty much it. That should be our... Oh, no, I've messed up again. What did we do? That closed. That closed. Oh, I didn't close the success handler. No, I did. Man, I've messed up the brackets again. So we've got parenthesis here that closes here. This closes the if. Do we need... No, we close the if above. I've done something wrong in here. These close each other. Oh, I need brackets on the success handler. There we go. Missing brackets, missing brackets. Try building that. This should be all the code that we need for sending the message. And then we'll be pretty much done with this right when I figured we would be, right around 1. Yeah, thanks Skill51. I caught it finally. That was my mistake. Okay, cool. Let's run this. Should connect. Old school Timmy Minneapolis. And then send button should work. And it's populating all the places. So, in this morning, now bleeding into afternoon's stream, we have used the brand new, hot off the presses, Xamarin bindings for Twilio IP messaging to create a cross-platform application that works JavaScript way over there. iOS a little closer this way, and Android all the way back over this way. All of these apps are using the same IP messaging infrastructure that is running in Twilio's cloud, that's keeping track of all these messages for us. We've got notifications passing through from all of them, so if I say hi here, it's popping up in both the iOS and the Android. Any clients that you created, any web browsers that you've connected to this brent.ngrok.io domain would work. If you want to do this for yourself, head over to https twilio.com/docs/API/IP messaging. And that'll have the quick start, but also I should point you to the Xamarin component. So if we go to components.xamarin.com, I can look up the Twilio IP messaging. It looks like component store is back to working. We'll take a detour in a second to try to get that working out again. But there is a Twilio IP messaging component. This has in the getting started page. Right. Let's open that up. Let me go into Xamarin and try getting the component again. So if we do get more components, component store looks like it's working a little better right now than it was earlier. We'll give this a shot one more time. It was working better in my browser. It doesn't seem like it's working so great here. Components.xamarin.com. We have the components.xamarin.com specific one for Twilio IP messaging. So if you search for Twilio, you'll get IP messaging. Let's try this over here. See if it's working in Xamarin Studio now. It is. See if we get add to app. Okay, you'll get add to app. Great. Let's try this. So if we remove these packages, so if I do remove and I do remove, so I got those from NuGet. I'm going to show you how to get them as a component. So if you right click in Xamarin and do get more components, it's going to load the component store. Oh, thanks for the follow. Another scarf guy. Cool. Twilio. We go into Twilio IP Messaging. Oh no, it's still saying download. Oh my goodness. Of course, it worked once. You had one job, component store. You had one job. Welcome back, scarf guy. Let's try this component store one more time. I don't know what the deal is with the component store. It's working and then it's not working, and it's working and then it's not working. We haven't been able to get this quite up to snuff. I don't know what's going on with this over at Xamarin, but they've been having some issues with it. As evidenced on this stream yesterday and today, I have not been able to use this correctly. But we do have the NuGet package. But anyways, what I wanted to show you is, as of today, we have this new Twilio IP Messaging component, and if you click on getting started in this component, there is a gigantic guide that walks you through everything you need to know about creating what we built today on this stream for yourself. This is still not working though, so that's a bummer. But anyways, totally not scarf guy. Oh, we're gonna get a scarf guy train again. Cool. All right, I think we're gonna be done for today. We have done a lot. We have worked on we've worked on a lot today. We got an iOS chat application, an Android chat application, and a web chat application, all using Twilio IP Messaging. Here's the iOS version. Here's the Android version. There's the web version. Great stuff, guys. Thank you for hanging out today. I think due to time restriction, I think we're going to punt on the giveaway. I will give away something else on my next stream. Maybe I'll do 2 giveaways since I've got to skip this one. But I would love to thank you guys for hanging out. Thank you for the new followers. Let's see, who do we have? Who followed today? Well, Scarf Guy, and we had Jeremy earlier that followed. A nice reminder that if you like what's going on this stream, just a subtle reminder to follow. Click the heart in the lower left and give the follow. Sign up for those notifications so that you know when I go live. I do stream every Wednesday. I can't stream next Wednesday, so we'll try to make that up somehow. I'm going to be at Xamarin Evolve, where I am both presenting and sponsoring. So if you're going to be at Xamarin Evolve, I will see you there. If you won't, I won't see you on stream, but we'll see you next time. Again, thanks for hanging out, and until next time, happy coding.